revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Where there's people, there is power. Justice in our time.
I'd like to welcome back my associate, Kingsley Karuke, project leader, Equal Start. And this is Sean Buchanan joining you today. I'm going to be talking about my associate's views on Israel and Palestine. We clashed about this the other day, didn't we, King?
We did.
Oh yes, and sorry, happy birthday, happy 40th birthday.
Thank you very much.
You come and see me later. Yeah, I've got something for you.
So, my thoughts on Israel versus Palestine. You guys are not going to like what I'm going to say, so brace yourselves. It's going to sound a bit twisted, but I'm pro-Israel. Now, what do I mean when I say I'm pro-Israel? I'm pro-Israel in the sense that Israel have a right to a space, a place, and Israelis are people. My issue with the Israelis is that the government is allowing itself to be led on a goose chase by the West. So, as opposed to getting their priorities right, they're allowing themselves to be led on a goose chase by a lot of corruptocrats and warmongers, and people who want to, and high-profile or elite individuals who want to capitalize on the war economy at the expense of their own nations. We're talking the United States, we're talking the United Kingdom, we're talking Canada.
Yeah, but it's more than the government, you know, King. It's Zionism as well. You know, we clashed about this the other day before. I said, look, we'll go online and see what the people have to say.
We did clash about it. You know, I am not going to assume that I know I know how to run a government, and to that end, I say that simply because I don't know what I would do if I was in the position of the Prime Minister.
I know full well what I would do. To be fair, that Russia is paid up. He's paid up by Zionists, yeah, and the liberal elite to maintain the status quo. And I know because of your Christian background, even though your brother's one as well, your backslidden one, but there's a lot. Israel didn't occupy that land first, and they murdered people. The Hittites, the Amorites, the Amalekites, as you well know. These people are not around anymore. And then obviously God scattered them, yeah, for disobedience, didn't they? For Solomon's, you know, worshipping strange idols and going away from the Lord. And he told them they'd be scattered. They'd be scattered amongst the nations, and they've come back in the 1940s after the Second World War and occupying the land with people that were there before them. And as time's gone on, their land has shrunk, and Israel's parts of Israel are much bigger. And now you've got only the West Bank, Gaza, and what's other place? Yeah, so that's a blatant injustice, King. If I came to your house now and told you I'm gonna come in your room, take out your food, and make you live in a dog kennel, you'd be telling me no, that can't work. You'd war with me. So effectively, it's saying it's okay for the Israel government to do that, despite the fact that the injustice and the murdering they're doing over civilians that don't have the same military capacity.
I'm not saying it's okay. All I'm basically saying is let's not jump to conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not jump to conclusions. At the end of the day, it's easy to say that, oh, if I was in this position, this is what I do, until we're put in that position.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's true. I can't deny
So
that.
I on that I actually rest my case.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I agree with you with that, because obviously we don't know the nuances behind the scenes, but Remember, do you see that general yesterday? He's resigned from the army. And there's been
Which one?
protests that the Israeli media won't advertise and let the people see. Because now there's a lot of normal people up in army.
And that's interesting because what is the things that the things that are happening where they're happening, the Israeli people have a right to know. And if that's been withheld from them, then there's a real problem there because they, the whole thing of informed choice is all about giving people the information they need to know about the current political affairs that are going on around them. And it's only there and then that if they decide, oh, we're going to stick to our government, cool, or if they can decide whether they're going to boycott their government. You can't keep them in the dark forever. There's only so long. There's only so much There's only so much genuine progress that can be obtained from keeping your people in the dark. It's like being a preacher, man.
See, look! I'm looking at it now. Consul General Asaf Zamir resigned on Sunday after summoned by the foreign minister in Jerusalem. You see, putting pressure on him. Yeah. Let me find out what's that general. What's this? Guterres? No, spread destruction.
So it's quite interesting because when you're looking
UN
at
chief resigns as well. Resigns to be fair to his own news. This is last year. That general chief.
Let's if we look at when you're a Christian or a Christian leader, take for example the American pastor T.D. Jakes.
Yeah.
The American pastor T.D. Jakes, or the late American the late American pastor Bishop Eddie Long. In the wake of allegations that they've been into funny stuff, the right thing to do would be to step down.
Yeah, of course, that's what's happening. But remember, they're not giving you the actual reasons why they're doing it, so it leads you up to interpretation.
And so one of the things is accountability towards the people to actually display the fact that you are genuine, despite the inevitability that the people are initially going to see you as a scumbag. Because when you're exposed and what have you, your reputation is going to take a hit. But pride goes before destruction, unfortunately. And the whole premise of holding on and saying, oh, but I'm a man of God, I haven't started, I'm going to be protected, that's problematic. Because inevitably you're going to inject this sense of discord amongst people. You're going to create warring factions rather than take the hit. Oh, he's not a reliable leader, and then give yourself room for repentance. It's, oh, I'm okay. I'm wrong and strong.
That's what Israel is doing. That's what Israel is doing at the moment, King. Look, I found it now. The General Richard Hischet has resigned along with senior high-ranking officials from the Israeli army. See, 2 days ago. That's the picture that I saw online.
The other thing is that you can never always be too certain. You can never always be too certain of their stance simply because we live in a different environment and we have our own issues to face.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So to that end, we can only inject so much of a view in terms of politics outside of the stuff outside of our home turf.
Yeah, of course. Because a lot of speculation. We're not in there, but
just because we're entitled to an opinion doesn't mean that how we look at what is right and wrong may necessarily overlap with what's going on
Yeah, of course.
there.
Yeah, I'm not denying that, but Hamas, Kingsley, makes up a very tiny minority of Palestinians. The leadership, as I told you before, doesn't even live in Israel. They live in Lebanon, and they're not going over there and sending Mossad or any other covert agents to go and wipe them out, are they? Now, Antar News had dealings with Hamas when they first came into power with Palestine. He kind of basically set up the infrastructure so they could take power over the Palestinians in partnership. And they've renamed and all the deals. They're still building settlements. And obviously, this little hostile, this hostile situation where they've taken hostages, they've gone in there. Israel's response has been way over the top, and then no one can deny that. You're basically killing people that have got throwing pebbles at tanks. You got people lining up to get food and getting murdered, and it's obvious. It's not even one that they can really dress up. And now they're starting to lose the main population. A lot of the normal civilians now are starting to say, yeah, it's too far, it's too much, and they're going overboard. So it's blatant Zionism and the political establishments trying to maintain their status quo. Yeah, and in a land that they weren't there first, they were injected back in there on the help of Western governments in 1948. So no matter how they try to do this, like nitpicking. Me and you were both sinners. We do wrong, right? But that's like comparing us to like Genghis Khan. You see what I mean? Or say Winston Churchill. Have we sent anyone to kill anyone abroad for resources? You see what I mean? Have we gone out and said, listen, we don't like Irish people or we don't like Jews or Arabs and said, yeah, let's wipe them out. And then, we're going to fund the war and make money out of it on top of it. So they could say we're sinners, but the corruption and wickedness they've done is far greater than what me and you've done, isn't it? Anyone can nitpick. Anyone can say, yeah, you're not squeaky clean. Say, yeah, who is? But I said, in terms of misdeeds and the gravity of it, the scales of justice is out of balance.
The scales of justice, but who are we to impart? It's easy to draw swords and say, "Oh,
yeah, I am drawing swords.
We know what is better." It's very look. We just because we know we can see right and wrong from a distance doesn't mean we should allow our ego to be inflated by that sense of justice, because that can easily cause us to become obnoxious.
That's true.
In a manner of speaking. So
I don't mind people obnoxious when they're dying for their freedom and trying to stop the entitled to be with full chests. It's like didn't Jehovah say that he's I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. That when I read that scripture, that sounded like a lot of ego to me. So you can understand when people become righteous indignation when they see injustice. You can understand it.
You want me to clash swords with you today,
yeah? Well, yeah, you can. I'm dealing with
Don't
principles that you live by and principles that you believe in.
After this, we're definitely gonna clash swords.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna clash swords. But I'm gonna switch topic for a bit, because we want to go back to the whole thing of feminism in today's society. Now, I was looking at something pertaining. I was looking at a brochure for the Crystal Palace International Film Festival, which is currently underway until the 29th of this month.
Yeah, it's International Women's Month. Yeah, that's why. International Women's Month.
Okay. So one of the details and for a lot of the movies that I saw was very, for lack of a better word, anti-men.
That's to be expected.
And that's it's a bit of a heartbreak, because the only men that they really kind of put on a pedestal, and it was only in one instance even, was a gay man.
Yeah, I know.
And that's virtuous. That
is virtuous. They're trying to make alliance with the LGBT community.
Because that's to say that the gay man is different from any other man. The gay man is still a man.
That's all right, of course.
They're still a male. And they're still subject to the typical tribulations affiliated with being a male. To now segregate him and put him in a class of his own is problematic, because if I was to now say, oh, in the same way, the gay man would actually, some gay men would actually now actually lash out regarding this transgender stuff.
Sure.
You can't, all in the name of feminism, now isolate gay men from other men. What about a gay man that says I'm pro-Trump?
Yeah,
You're gonna throw him under the bus. He's still a gay man.
Yeah, because that's on political values and ideology. That's why they're throwing him under the bus.
But then it doesn't go without saying he's still a gay man. Just because he's a gay man doesn't mean he's going to lean politically the way you want him to.
Yeah, of course, I agree.
Understand? So this is so it's all this stuff is red herring nonsense. It's literally it's removing us from the real issues at hand. It's almost like,
remember, it's a colonial tactics, divide and conquer. It's like when you see like Black Lives Matter, when they said they're bringing in the LGBTQ crowd and saying that they're trying to tear down the nuclear family and capitalism. And I said, how can you do that when there's a lot of Black people that have businesses, small businesses? There's nothing wrong with nationalism and Black pride, but then why would you? Surely you'd want to help everyone that's in the Black community, nuclear family, blended family, LGBTQ. Yeah. I said, once you start dividing up and saying you're using that as a cover to undermine the principles that we built on, I said, then you're destroying your own community effectively.
Yeah, you're
that's
trying
hypocrisy.
to kind of create a superiority. You're giving priority to one group
within our own community
over the other.
And same like the master, same like the overseer, same like the colonizers that you're saying you're fighting against to tear down. Like Animal Farm with George Orwell, when they said, "Oh, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad," and then when the animals got into power, they started to walk upright and wear clothes like humans, and then say, "Here, 2 legs good, 4 legs bad." In the end, it's like that. It's like the Animal Farm when I was a kid, George Orwell. Yeah. It's terrible, and it seems to repeat the pattern again and again throughout history. I don't know why.
Yeah,
surely you must learn from the patterns that's gone on before.
I would argue it's the unfortunate hand of fate that is due to us as a result of having the human disposition. It's a very unique disposition to have, and that's why it should not be seen. It should not be seen on the base. It should be taken. It shouldn't be taken lightly. It shouldn't be taken lightly.
In terms of how we're gonna counteract this to bring back balance to these kind of debates, because as you know, mainstream legacy media, they don't want to touch anything to do with men's rights. They try to push on that was closet incels, that are misogynists, to trying to claw back power or remain in power.
They really want to push. They want to push a lot. They want to push a lot. They want to push a lot of narratives whereby they expect us to assume that this is right.
Yeah, no, that's how bad it's getting.
It's very divisive. And
they don't want to take any judgment for the hypocrisy either, which I find if you judge the hypocrisy or the double standards, they turn around and says, "Oh, you're misogynist." So it's an easy cop out. I've been dealing with that since I went on the Baby Father podcast.
It's sad. And I was giving a friend of mine as we're on the phone having a debate. We had a heated debate over the phone about certain stuff as it pertains to people making choices and people not being able to make people making choices as far as their personal knowledge of their circumstances go. And one of the things that came up was the whole role of the media. Now, if we look at an incident that happened in the YMCA Wimbledon, it was a stabbing that happened in the YMCA Wimbledon. In the Wimbledon Gazette and the Wimbledon Guardian, the local tabloids, it was labeled, it was described as a murder in Wimbledon. It didn't specify the actual place, and the reason is simply because the YMCA found a way to liaise with the media and coerce them or persuade them. Not, I wouldn't say coerce them, but um, they found a way to get them to not mention that it was at the YMCA that this happened.
Yeah, I remember.
Simply
Yeah, I
because of the
remember. Yeah,
renovation
because it's
project.
Young Men's Christian Associations, bad public relations, and then they're thinking people they would lose their clientele. That's what
Yeah,
they're concerned with, the
but
bottom
then
line
this is
and their reputation.
but in the same way, this is how a lot of BS is combed over by the mainstream media.
Mm, mm, mm,
They leave out finer details.
mm. Well,
They
you know
leave
what
out
Dan used to
finer
say? He used to say that was the Christian mafia's fault. The
details.
Christian mafia, you see? Mm,
Well, when it comes to Christian mafia, I wouldn't know anything about that. I would say it was more of a YMCA mafia,
mm,
because YMCA in their approach to Christianity shouldn't be conflated with the real cause of Christianity.
mm.
You understand?
That's what because
But
when you mix up religion with politics.
mm, so moving on forward, with in to answer your question,
Mm,
one of the things that as we have discussed is in the pipeline is to create a, a community project which will actually show the efforts that men are making to actually rebuild trust and to build connections with their youngsters, and through various endeavors such as playing chess, playing pool. It could be like math math lessons. It's a number of things.
Oh, what for the
Um,
school children? What secondary or primary school?
for young for young yeah for young kids, for
Mm,
young kids especially. And I think it's really important that we get across this message, because we want to actually show that there are guys that are trying, that you cannot discount them just because of this, oh, blah 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 blah.
the gender. That were men.
Yeah, you can't
That we,
discount them.
mm,
And with that, it's also going to be a space for females as well, but our focus is towards giving the men the space they need to be able to kind of find soul to be able to actually recenter themselves, to find a sense of balance, to actually add a sense of purpose and meaning to their lives. And so that's a project that within the next month or two will be set into motion. So, guys, please please be on the lookout. Keep your eyes on the Equal Start social media page via Instagram for more updates regarding that project, because it is one of the countermeasures that we have in place to kind of to change the narrative, to really show that the narrative is convoluted as it is right now.
mm, it is convoluted. It is. But the only way we're going to be able to overcome that is by showing reason and balance. Because as soon as we get radical, all they say is that look, we're misogynists. We're just seeking control and power
That's
and to
what
rule
that's
over
what
women like
that's
we
what
were
they
in the
say.
Victorian era.
And it's funny you say that, because the other thing that I want to really touch on is this attempt to quell protest, simply
Well, yeah, by the
because
government, that's been
yeah.
going on since the Tories come into power.
But now it's more apparent than ever, and they're using
Of
this
course, of
really
course.
false narrative of trying to clamp down on Islamists, and I
Mm,
think that is very backhanded.
mm,
It's very backhanded, because if if you're to say say that Islamists, because of Islamists, will not protest, then you can also say that okay, Christians cannot protest about their freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm. You know what is the threat? It's the threat, and that it goes against their plan. That's why.
Because
remember, he's got Muslims in his own party.
It's a very
He's Chancellor's checker before Jeremy Hunt.
Yeah.
He's Muslim, so
it's a very dangerous.
It's like mudslinging. It's mudslinging because they say Labour's anti-Semitic and they've got supports from Golders Green, Jewish donations. So they're saying the Tories now is Islamophobic. It's just like a schoolyard argument, and they're just trying to throw dirt on each other, disparages, to try and ruin the reputation and get voters on side, especially swing voters.
It's the same crop of politicians that are not holding the police to account.
Yeah, I know, for murdering civilians and women, I know. And then when they talk about misogyny,
the police to account, they say, "Oh, the police are doing a great job," but in actual fact, they're not checking what the police are doing. Look at how the police are putting up, Christian preachers.
I know, for saying in public, I've seen that. Yeah, I saw that. I've seen a few incidents.
People singing Christian songs in public.
They say there's public disorder, removing them. Yeah, I've seen it.
And that's absolute. And
nonsense.
The government would keep. They're sewing up their lips about that.
Because remember, a lot of that Kings, like I said, keep saying it's a colonial tactics, divide and conquer. We're there squabbling for our little part of the corner on the street to say our beliefs and talk about it and sing about it. They will say, yeah, that's fine. And then when we argue, like, say, with someone that is Muslim or someone that's transgender or gay, say, oh, yeah, you lot keep arguing while we're making the money, making your lives harder with this cost of living crisis, increasing your tax burden while we're enriching corporations. They like all that. They like all that. We have to have the collective purpose and collective unity.
In addition to that, if we look at the incident that happened about 6 weeks ago in St. Pancras International train station, with regards to the white man playing the piano and how he got himself involved with how he got himself into a feud with the CCP indirectly. Now it's pretty much the same thing, because what happened, the female police officer gave him a bollocking which was unwarranted.
No, of course it was unwarranted. Of course it was.
Bearing in mind that, look, the Taiwanese people have extended their support to him. The Hong Kong people have extended their support to him. This man bears no malice, and irrespective of how much how British he is, in the sense that, okay, he's a typical like Brit. It shouldn't. They like, a woman shouldn't have to throw him. A female police officer shouldn't have to throw him under the bus because you're allegedly being racist, and it's like, he wasn't being racist. As a matter of fact, it's in the same way that certain groups will come in and say, "Oh, men are the enemy of women." We're not the enemy of women.
You know what happens? Fear, prejudice.
The reason why we have equal start to kind of highlight that.
But you know how it goes, King. You sow discord, fear, and prejudice, and then you let the poor people squabble amongst themselves to the crumbs to the master's table. That's how it always goes. So if you want to keep up with us and the news we're doing and the news we're making in the community to uplift the people, and obviously some of Kingsley's initiatives around community support for youngsters with education and sporting endeavours, then just check us out at that address, again, at @equal_7 at Instagram.